like a pro.
Capita.
Hey y'all, so this here is my cousin Taylor, and we are going to be doing a lovely transformation on her hair today. We have done several transformations on Taylor's hair. I mean, so many different hair color sessions, so many different hair color sessions at that. And her hair just grows just like grass. I mean, you can't even hardly tell that we had any previous existing hair color. So I'm excited, as you can see, and so is she. Because she was like, I want more blonde. I was like, you sure? But she takes care of her hair so well and maintains it. You know, she's a pretty good candidate, and her hair is long too, so imagine. And you know, long hair is already delicate and fragile, and then adding blonde to it can make it even more fragile. But if you take care of it, you can do it, and you can pretty much get away with it. So last time I believe we did her color session, let's see, I don't even remember how long ago it was, but we had like various different colors in it. It was almost like a mahogany brown kind of color, a honey blonde, very little small thin streaks, very like kind of baby lighted streaks of light blonde, and it was such a pretty fall transitional color. I mean, it was just absolutely gorgeous. But that has since grown out. I mean, all of it has grown out. So I do believe that was the last thing we did, as a matter of fact. So this time we're going to switch it up, and we're going to keep her palette a little bit more natural, simply because she did say she wanted more blonde, and I was like, and she also didn't want to change her base color either. So we're going to be making her extremely rooty. We're going to give her a lived-in, more so kind of blonde, instead of the super dimensional streaks that we did last time. We did some really thick slices in her mohawk section last time, which was beautiful. I mean, it was gorgeous. I'll put a picture up so you guys can see. But we just want to go for something a little different this time. So obviously, you know, it's not a thing of what's better. It's just how you feel. And this time she was feeling sun-kissed and blonde. So that's what we're going for. So I've already done the back. Well, I should say towards the nape of her neck. I've already done those sections. And as you can see, I am taking wide chunks. I'm keeping my stitch really wide because I don't want to lose the placement. And the more stitches you do, it's easier to lose the pattern. So if we keep those stitches nice and wide, then we can have more of we can just have a more seamless, a better blend, I believe, for what she wants today. So I'm going to be working with two different formulas, and I will add those up there. But the first formula that I did on the zone 2 and a little bit of zone 1, that is actually hair color. I will put those formulas up as well so you guys can see those. But that's going to be our transitional color, kind of like her half light, so that she has something to break that up, because being in her hair is naturally so dark. I mean, I want to say that it's like a level 2, maybe a level 3, just a really, really, really dark brown. For some odd reason, I just do not like blondes on just really dark hair. Like, I'm okay with it being in the roots, but I feel like when it's throughout the rest of the hair shaft, you gotta have another mid color to break that up, just so the contrast is not so distinct and it's not so harsh. You need something that's going to marry it all together. And so that brown color that I put on there is going to serve as an excellent backdrop for that blonde to rest on, and also for it to transition into the her natural dark hair. So she'll technically essentially have about 3 different colors going on. She's going to have her blonde highlights, which of course we're going to tone. She'll have some brown peeking through. They won't be super, super light brown. It'll be like a neutral brown, somewhere in there. Not too dark, not too light, a nice medium brown. And then she'll have her natural shade, and this will allow for her grow out to be seamless, her maintenance to be low, and she won't have to worry about any lines of demarcation either. So y'all, hair terminology has come quite a long way, and we have so many different names for all different sorts of techniques and whatnot. And so for this, even though I am using foils for her hair, I technically don't know if I would book this under a full foil or foil session, and simply because your just standard foil session with foils, it's like you can only get like so much out of it. Like you're kind of limited when it comes to just traditional foil placements. Sometimes they can be streaky, and this is not to say that they're not beautiful or that they aren't necessary. I love doing foils, but they do have their place, and it is important to know what the client's end goal is, so you'll know whether or not you need to go in with some freehand painting or with foils. Now, I also wouldn't classify this as balayage either, because I am using foils. So there's a term that describes this, and it's called foliage. I hope I'm even saying that right. I always get tripped up over it, but yeah, foliage. 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 We'll just go with that. And what it does is that it can create the look of balayage, but you can get quicker, brighter results because you are wrapping it in the foils. And the foils are, they're perfect for when you need extreme amounts of lift, you need high lift, you need bright hair. You kind of want to get rid of some warmth. Foils are excellent for that, because balayage, you will see warmth in the hair, and you're only going to get but so many levels because it is open air process most of the time. You can always kind of tweak it a little bit, but generally speaking, if you're starting on dark hair like this, it can take a few sessions if you're just doing balayage. But being that we were able to do this in one session, which I most of the time don't recommend if you don't know how to properly formulate. Let me just interject myself and get a little sidetracked by saying that in the back of her hair, because we are doing foils, I am using 10 volume developer with my lightener, because I want this to cook nice and slow, and we're already wrapping it in a foil, and being that her hair is already porous, we don't need anything aggressive. We need that back to just cook nice and slow and take its time, because we don't want anything aggressive to destroy her cuticle layer. We want to keep her hair nice and tight because she's already going blonde. That's already maintenance within itself. So how we get there is even more important. So 10 volume for the back, and then for my lightener in the front, I'll be using 20 volume so that everything can process around the same time. Okay, so that's a really big deal. And that's one of the key things in formulating. You not only have to formulate for your beginning hair color and where you are, but you also have to formulate for time as well, because you don't want to rinse out sections prematurely. That'll be a waste of a hair application, a hair color application. Making sure that you know how to time everything so that you get a nice even lift all around. But back to the foliage. So yeah, you see how I'm just creating dimension within her hair. Like I'm tipping out some of the ends, so all the hair that's left out on the ends, I'm kind of teasing that, tipping the ends out, because we want to create a multi-dimensional look. We want to create a balayage effect, but we need to do it in one session. And so, being that she won't be coming back for multiple sessions, foliage is the way to go. And you can even see the dimension in her hair now. All the foils are not up to the root. I'm even creating different placements, different blends when I'm painting her hair. As you see, I'm here around her hairline now, and being that she wants to be very sun-kissed, I am making these streaks a little bit finer so it can mimic soft grow out. So when she pulls her hair back, she gets that nice baby lighted kind of sun-kissed look around her hairline. She doesn't have thick chunky streaks around that part, which is what she wanted. So all of this is just a lot of technique. It's a lot of figuring out about placement, how they want it to read. That's why I say consultations are key. You have to have a good consultation, because I'm not gonna lie, we actually sat and chatted for quite a while, because she said she want more blonde. I'm like, well, that's not saying much. So we need to backtrack and figure out, well, how much blonde do you want? Because that, again, is going to determine what technique I use. I could have went in with a traditional foil placement and had all the foils just stacked up to her root. That would have gave her a lot of blonde, but that's not the kind of blonde that she wanted to see. She wanted a lot of blonde, but she also wanted it on her natural hair color too. And she still wanted to see some of her hair color as well. So I had to get very creative and realizing that, okay, we're going to kind of make this like a chunky, somewhat ombre. And we're going to have 3 different tones working together. We're going to keep your natural color. We're going to add in a half shade, and then we're going to keep the blonde too. Because one thing about blonde is, and I know I'm rambling, guys, but I have so many thoughts coming to my mind as I'm speaking about this. One thing about blonde is that a little goes a long way, and you'll think that you have a whole lot of blonde in your head, and you've only added in a couple foils or a couple pieces. So it's important to know how much is too much and how little is too little, and also where they want to see it. So for her, she wanted to see it more towards her face and more towards the ends. And so when we get done, you'll see how all of this marries together. But this is what we have so far. Everything's going to process and cook, and then I'm going to tone it. I'll put those formulas up there as well. You'll also check the description box so you can see everything that I used. And yep, we're going to come back and we are going to style her hair. All right, y'all, and here is the grand reveal of this beautiful blonde sun-kissed color session. Do you see all this beautiful dimension? Like, she's a blonde, but she's a blonde with some natural color in there too. It just looks very lived in. It's a very soft blonde blend. It's not aggressive, and that's what she wanted. You see how we were able to achieve that. You can see how she's a little bit brighter around the face. She has more blonde there. She's tipped out on the end, so she has some blonde towards the end, but also throughout the interior and her halo. And at her roots, she's still nice and soft where her natural color is going to live. So we hit every nail on her head. Like when she puts her hair up in a ponytail, That's the action she'll get. Just beautiful. I mean, so beautiful. So bright. Oh, I love it. And I'm going to put a picture in here so you can see what it looked like before I pressed it out. Look at that dimension. Oh my God, getting sidetracked. So pretty. I'm going to put a picture of it when I blow dried it so you can just see how beautiful it was with just a blow dry. It was absolutely gorgeous. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. And it actually read, I mean, lighting is so deceiving because on the picture when I just blow dried it, it looked a little bit more cool, but on this camera here, it's coming up a little bit warmer. So lighting will do that. I always say if you want to see like the truest tone, sunlight, just natural light, not inside, but outside and natural light. That's gonna be like your truest tone or whatnot, because hair color, it shifts depending on what lighting you're in. So anyways, turned out so pretty. And to style her hair, I'm going to just put some beautiful kind of kind of like a wave, just real soft, a lot of volume, a lot of body. We're gonna go for that. And I just loved how it turned out. And again, back to what I was saying earlier in the video, guys, it's all about formulation and technique, really. I mean, you can create just about anything or correct, I'm going to say not everything, but just about anything if you know how to formulate, you know the science behind hair, and then you are familiar with techniques. Now, this doesn't always mean that you have to be a pro at every single technique. I do what I do. Some things I just don't like to do. So I refrain from doing those things. But learning new techniques and knowing how to create different blends in the hair without overworking yourself is paramount to creating these beautiful creations, and it does take time, like this is nothing that I had learned overnight. This is just, I mean, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears kind of went into it, but it was fun for me. I enjoyed learning and making mistakes and making errors and whatnot. And one day it'll just click for you, and you'll be able to look at a head and just know exactly what you need to do. So it's so pretty. It's just so pretty. And I love how when she wears her hair different ways, it's going to read totally different. So it's looking like this now that it's straight, but she wears her hair curly sometimes too. So when she goes to wear curly, it won't look anything like this. It'll look completely different. But that was another thing that we disclosed during a consultation point. I wanted to know, how much do you want to see when it's curly too? Because when your hair is curly, you actually lose most of your placement, if not all of it. So it's important to realize, if you're a person that bounces back and forth between straight hair and curly hair, you have to know that how your hair looks when it's straight, it's not going to look like that. And your color can even shift and look a little darker when it's curlier than when it's straight. So that's something to consider too, So anyways, I'm getting ready to comb these curls out a little bit. I just use a little holding spray. I'm using the Kenra number 13 because I see the red top that I was using. So use the number 13. It's like a medium hold. Because she needed something a little more than the light hold, but I also didn't want to do the super hold on her hair too, because I know she planned on keeping her hair out for a little bit. So we're going to do this comb out. And as you can see, it's just flowing so nice. You see all that depth there that we left in the back, and still how it's so bright on the ends. That's what she was going for. That's what she wanted. But around her face, it's very, very bright. It's very bright because that's where she wanted to see it. But imagine if it was just bright all the way around. you know, that can be distracting and that can take away from the lived in look, because again, you don't need a lot of blonde to make a high impact. Look, she's feeling so sassy. I was trying to keep this girl under control, but she just started feeling herself. I know that's right, because hair color will do that to you. It will make you start feeling all kinds of special. I'm with that. Shoot, I want to get me some hair color as well. I'm like, look, I'm tired of being boring. I might get my hair colored maybe at some point this year, but I be lying, because I need to just stop playing and figure out if I'm going to commit to growing my hair out or being diligent and leaving it alone. I don't know. This ain't about me. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like it. Make sure you share it. Look at Taylor. So cute. And make sure you subscribe. Always make sure y'all do that. If you have any questions, obviously just hop down in the comments. You know, I respond to what I can. And then also check the description box so you can see everything that I use. All right. I'll see y'all in my next video.